Yo, my microphone better stay on. All right, I think we live, right? That's what it says.
Let's see. Hold on.
I don't know if it's gonna come up yet.
Are we
I know we
live?
got.
What up? What up?
All right, we live. All right, everybody, we back. We back. Today we got RJ with us, one of our special guests who's gonna be joining us from time to time. So shout out to RJ. He's gonna be helping us out today.
Thanks
You
for
already
having
know
me.
me. Yeah, of course, bro. Of course. Y'all know me, Jay. We got Alexander the Don back as usual. Got a busy schedule, but he got some time for us. So we're gonna try to get it cracking today. We're gonna try not to go over an hour. I know, we're infamous for going over an hour and a half, but we're gonna try to keep it down. So first of all, let's get into this. Let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about first some of the stuff going on in the NBA. Obviously, there's been a lot of stuff going on since the finals started, and of course, they end. The Knicks came close, but they got etched out by the Pacers, and then thankfully for me, the Pacers got eliminated by OKC, and that was the one happiest night of my life recently. But first off, before we even talk about the whole elimination and who won and what we think is gonna happen next season, first let's talk about the injury with Tyrese Halliburton. So what do y'all think about that? This is going to be the second Achilles injury in these finals. First, we saw that it happened with Jason Tatum, and then obviously with Halliburton, I feel like it could have been avoided. He did suffer that, like he pulled some sort of string or something like that in his leg 2 games prior, and then they played him super hard in that second game, which I guess they needed him. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it would have been it for them. But then they tried to play him hard again in this last game, and then I think there was 5 minutes left in the first quarter when he went down. So, starting with Don, what do you think, man? What was your analysis on that? How do you feel about Halliburton as a player, first of all, and then how do you feel about this injury?
I'm iffy with Tyler Halliburton as a player. Like, I don't know, man, because it's like he's one of those players that he's good, but there's something he don't have that star power, in my opinion, like that super stardom to him. I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why everybody's saying that he's overrated. But as a player, like he gets the job done, bro. He like super clutch. He reminds me of a Jokic. Like yeah. Like Jokic don't have that super stardom type vibe, but he gonna get the job done. He gonna win games. As for like the injury, I feel like I don't know. The NBA got to figure out what they're doing because all these star players get injured. It doesn't seem like a coincidence anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like they're getting ran to the ground. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've been watching First Take and all that in the morning and Get Up and stuff, and that has been kind of a constant argument or debate that are the modern players now, are they getting like way overworked and like playing way harder than the players from back in the day? RJ, what you think?
Nah, these players nowadays, they're soft. They're definitely not playing hard like Jordan and all the guys from back in the day. They're not playing as these guys. They're taking advantage of the system, and they get paid to sit off the court. They don't be injured half the time. They sprain their ankle. 2 hours later, the ankle's fine. They're claiming an injury for 6 to 9 months. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, no, but I mean that is true. Like I think in the NBA right now, especially, we're seeing a lot of you see a lot of flops, you see a lot of exaggerating injuries, a lot of people acting, and then you got guys obviously trying to sit out games, reserving their energy and stuff like that until they feel needed. But as far as the injuries, I don't know. I think specifically with this Halliburton situation, it kind of resulted from him playing too hard. You know what I mean? That was kind of literally the situation, what it seemed like to me. Like if he had just maybe not had played so hard that game before the one where he got injured, I don't think this injury would have happened, at least not in the first quarter. Maybe he would have at least made it to the end of the game. You know what I mean?
Facts. I get what RJ's saying. Like that is the case a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Right. But with this playoffs, what I notice is like all these, the superstars going down because it wasn't just Tyrese Halliburton that went down. Who went down the series before? I think
it's Tatum.
Tatum. Yeah, it's like yeah. So all these superstars and they're going down with serious injuries in the most important time of the season. You know what I'm saying? So, and you gotta you have to really take into account how often these dudes play basketball, coming from like elementary, middle school, and high school.
Right.
It's constant. You actually play more basketball in those times than you do in the NBA because basketball is year round. You know what I'm saying? You're playing your school basketball. You're playing your AAU travel team. Then you're doing then you go like you kind of go right back to school basketball like when you the conditioning, and then you got your season, and then you just year round. So it's like once you get to the NBA, all your tendons and muscles, boy,
they destroyed, bro.
It's like coming like about time where you're gonna get your tears and stuff. LeBron, I don't know how the hell LeBron did it.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously a special case. Yeah.
I don't know what that man's doing, but any other human being putting their body through that much like stress, they're gonna catch some like crazy injuries, bro.
Yeah. And another debate that's like going on is you mentioned LeBron a couple of weeks ago. I guess the debate going on right now is everyone talking about whether or not you deserve Hall of Fame status or deserve to be considered iconic or legendary if you don't get an NBA ring, at least one, or now they're saying if you don't have at least 2-3 of them, you know what I'm saying, like you're not even really saying nothing. And LeBron himself, I guess, was basically saying that the NBA culture and the sports culture, they are taking the ring thing a little bit too seriously. And some people are saying that maybe he's just saying that now because he knows he's not about to get a whole handful, that by the end of his career, he's probably just gonna have what he has right now. But so what do y'all think? Because I actually went to the barbershop recently and got into a whole argument with my barber and some other people about this because
barbershop talk.
Yeah, because Allen Iverson's one of my favorite players. I think he deserves, he's one of the greatest in my opinion, but it's obviously known that he did not get any kind of ring throughout his whole career. And then there's obviously the whole argument with, his ending his career, like how it ended, his time on the Nuggets and what he did there. But what do y'all think about that argument? Like, do y'all think that really, like, because for example, the reason why this is being brought up is because of Halliburton. They're saying that more than likely he's not going to get another opportunity to get this close again in his career, especially not next season, obviously with this injury. But they're saying he's not going to get it. So, but then the other people are like you just said he's, you don't think he's superstar, but a lot of people are arguing that this kid is a superstar, but he has no ring and he's probably not going to get one. So, what do you guys think about that as far as that argument?
Well, me personally, I think that the conversation with LeBron, I think he's one of the best players of my lifetime. And I think in my opinion, they're always trying to like raise the bar. Like he's clearly the greatest, but they're gonna keep trying to raise the bar. I think he can retire right now, and he's still one of the best players of, like I said, my lifetime. And nobody can take that from him. It could be somebody that comes after him that gets 10 rings or whatever, but everybody's still always going to remember LeBron James. I don't think nobody could ever take that from him.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm an avid believer that LeBron is like the greatest player to me, of all time, right? Rings or not, that's the case with rings. I feel like there should be two different arguments, right? Who's the best player that won a bunch of rings, and who's just the absolute best player? You know what I'm saying?
With or without it,
with or without rings, because basketball is a team sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
exactly, yeah.
So like you can call some like you said, Allen Iverson. Just like T-Mac came out and said the other day, yo, you put me on the team with Shaq when Kobe had Shaq.
Yeah, I saw him say that.
And he's right.
Some people didn't agree with that. Yeah, that's true. He's right. Yeah,
like you put T-Mac around that time with Shaq. Replace T-Mac with Kobe.
Right.
They're winning championships, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Replace Allen Iverson with Kobe. They're gonna win some champions. You know what I'm saying? So like that the championship argument, it kind of, you know what I'm saying, goes up to, I don't know, bro. It's a team sport. Put it out. It's a freaking team sport. So,
and like RJ was saying, like I think the players these days, I mean, I don't know if I want to say they soft, but they definitely not as athletic, I think, or as the game itself ain't as hard as it was back in the day. So I feel like even because look at what's his name? I don't know. I never know how to pronounce his name. Antetokounmpo. Like when he won his ring a couple years ago, and they've been bringing this up on like ESPN too. Like it's so often now that we're seeing teams win a ring, and we're like, all right, we gonna see them next year, and you don't see them next year. It's just that 1 year. You know what I mean? There's no like back-to-back repeats anymore or three-peats anymore. So it's like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's like this thing where like anybody could get a ring, but it's like it's starting to feel that way. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely starting to feel that way, and it could be because a lot of the players, especially the new players, they're not as hungry no more for like just winning basketball. It's more of a show to them. You know what I'm saying? Like they're making millions before they even get into the NBA. They're deciphering what team they want to get picked. You know what I'm saying? They're a little more privileged than how it was back in maybe like the 90s or even the early 2000s. Yeah. It's more of they treating it more of entertainment and a show, like a big reality television show. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they're as hungry when it comes to hooping as they used to be, or like just coming into the NBA, they may be hungry a little bit and then they stop.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, I agree. And speaking of that, I guess we could kind of segue into the next topic. We're going to talk about Ace Bailey. And again, I don't even know much about this kid or what's going on really with him personally, but from what I understand, the NBA draft was the other day, and he got drafted by Utah, and he just has not shown up for any kind of practice or any kind of like team meetings or anything like that. So everyone's saying it's looking like he's just trying to curve the team. And it's part of this bigger argument where they're saying players are just kind of having too much options these days, too much choices. They already have in their minds these kind of super teams that they want to play for before they even get into the NBA and get drafted. So, what would you say about that? Because I know, obviously, we're not in the times anymore where they can just come out of high school, like LeBron did and whatnot. But it seems like now more than ever, they're just like big babies. Like they just have this kind of, they can just do whatever they want. What do you think about that? Do you think that he should have at least showed up to Utah and seen maybe if he could get traded or something?
I did see he showed up on a jet, so he did get to Utah.
Oh, he got there.
I don't know what he did afterwards, but it's just kind of like, nobody can get drafted no more in high school, but they're still like superstars in high school. These dudes are becoming millionaires. In high school from basketball. You know what I'm saying? I watched this podcast with his name's Mikey Williams, and one of the coaches didn't want to approach him and ask him to come to his team because he was like, dang, I didn't know how much you would charge. And I had to rewind that. I'm like, say that to a college kid? He's like, I didn't know. He didn't know how much he would want, like when it comes to money.
Oh, yeah. So wait, so they're like obligated to give them money now? Like it's like,
no, they're not obligated, but they know that these kids, they get so much NIL deals that if they're coming to your team, you got to be talking the right bag. You got to be talking the right money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to be how much money can I make? Like with NIL, how much money can you make me? How much deals can you get me? And if they ain't talking nothing, like, all right, let me go to the next team. So that's how these kids are coming up from high school.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where the issue is. Like they're not as hungry because these kids they may have already gotten rich. If their family wasn't rich when they were like in high school and they start hooping and playing good, and now the bag starts coming in. Now they're already changing their family's lives and stuff like that. Yeah. You lose that hunger. You just get to the NBA and you're like, all right, man, I already got multi-million-dollar. Like they're not as hungry. Look at LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball ain't that hungry. He just want to play. He just want to show, you know what I'm saying? Show out.
Dang, but you was gonna say something, RJ?
I'm not too caught up on the draft, but I was just gonna say that I don't think I agree with your point that they are like they don't have the same drive they used to have back in the day. Yeah. I think that it's the NBA being too lax with them and all these new initiatives and new policies and whatnot they've been introducing over the last 2 years. I do think the Kaepernick situation, that's NBA, that's NFL, right? Yeah. But Kaepernick, that situation across all the leagues, I think, just made everybody just soften up away towards how they treat the players, and with a trickle effect. So this we have now. They're not.
Yeah, I never even thought about it that
practice.
way. I never thought about that. I never realized that that might actually have something to do with how they're, how they're like acting and what they're allowing with these
They
guys
don't.
now.
Yeah, they scared to put the hammer down on them. Maybe they gotta
Yeah,
just.
they don't want that bad press. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they want to. They should just cut a few. Like, all right, we good on you. Like next,
Yep.
because there's a lot of talent, basketball talent. So you know what I'm saying. They don't need every single one of them.
Got to scare them. Got to put your foot down on a few of them so you can get the others in line.
That's
Yeah,
facts.
for real. That's facts. That's facts. All right, I mean that's the sports talk. So let's move on. Let's try to wrap that up. So let's talk about the news. And this is another thing. Again, I'm not trying to pay too much attention to the to the news right now because things is crazy. But we do know that there's a lot going on with this whole. I know a couple of days ago we just dropped some sort of like bombs or something on Iran. And I know that that stuff is sort of a result of the well, it has stuff to do with other stuff that we're going to talk about. But so what do y'all think overall? I mean, even if like me, we were not too up on the knowledge of what's going on with this whole Iran thing. What do y'all just think of the state of what's going on in the country? I mean, and don't be afraid, if your political views are, far from what people are messing with these days.
You know what's crazy? I was talking about the other day, right? And you would think like Trump is wilding out by like bombing Iran and things like that. But I feel like the whole world is wilding out, bro. Like it's honestly not just Trump, to be real. Like
how do you what do you mean by that? Like
even Iran, the stuff that it's kind of like this. It seems like they're wilding out from how the media like kind of puts it out there. You know what I'm saying? And they're all doing this press run, doing different lies and stuff like. Because Donald Trump, he just lying. He lying his ass off right now. Everything that man says is a lie, dog. He gonna say he did something, and it gets debunked in like 2 minutes. Like I don't know what that man's going through. That man is just. I feel like he's just lying about everything. Or saving face, or not even saving face. Let me not even call it saving face. I want to say he's in his delusion bag. You know what I'm saying? He's being delusional about everything, which it works for some people. It does work sometimes. Like you can be delusional as hell, and it's gonna work in your way. And I feel like that's how he operates right now. But yeah, they're doing this whole press run with this whole World War III thing on the internet. Like you'll see on Twitter, Iran making press conferences saying, our nuclear site wasn't burnt that bad, or such.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Donald Trump's like, yeah, their nuclear site is completely done. You know what I'm saying? Right. and then Iran will be like, yeah, they barely, like, I'm like, they're doing this whole press run like they about to do a boxing match or some shit. Like, yo, hold up, you're playing with people's lives, bro. Like this is people's lives that's in your hand, and y'all acting like y'all setting up for a boxing match. It's crazy.
So my thoughts on this is I felt for a long time that Israel is the problem here, and I'm not anti-Semitic or anything, but I do think that Israel wants to be the big dog in the Middle East, and they use the United States to get what they want. And Trump, he's not trying to, I guess, lose the Jew vote. I'm sorry, I don't know if you're allowed to say that, or lose.
Like I mean, yeah, that's what they're called.
Yeah, so he's just doing whatever they say. So not whatever they say, but he's just like using more.
He's being good favor with them. Like
everything that he denounced and was against with us doing with Ukraine, he's basically doing 10 times more with Israel, and it's just because of the way this country is run and the powers in this country. But Iran, I do think that Iran was wilding. Like they chant "Death to America." They do. I'm not no fan of Iran either, but I do think that Iran and the United States could just like coexist without too much going on. It's just Israel that we gotta check. So Trump did get upset with Israel, and he cursed at them and everything. And I guess that's when things started to die down a little bit. But you never know with Israel. They can start right after the ceasefire. They sent missiles, they biggest bombs, and bombed like hospitals or whatever the fuck in Israel. So they do they do whatever.
And remember, the ceasefire that you're talking about wasn't even like according to Iran, it wasn't even a real thing. You know what I'm saying? where like they were saying that there was a ceasefire, but there really wasn't a ceasefire.
No.
So it's a bunch of crazy stuff going on. But now I feel what you're saying with the Israel stuff, because a lot of people, they're like, yo, like what kind of hold does Israel have over Trump? You know what I mean? Because
it's not even just Trump. It's everybody. It's Republicans.
The world, man.
It's Democrats. They got in New York City right now. They got Mamdani. He's running. They got Cuomo, Adams. What's really going to decide this race is honestly, I think, is the Jews. Like where they go. And I think the Democrats might lose that. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. I'm gonna stay on topic. My bad.
Yeah, no. But I mean, it's all on topic, really. But yeah, but I like, it's crazy because like RJ just said, it's like if you even kind of like, talk about this or talk about it not in favor of Israel, it's like you're being anti-Semitic. But I don't think it should even be like that. It's just like, everybody has their opinion, obviously, and like you said, Israel is kind of wilding out right now. And my thing is like I don't like the world dominance thing. And I think with right now with Jewish people and with Israel and stuff like that, it seems like they're trying to have this dominance thing happen. And that's where I think like that's where they're starting to lose a lot of people. And then obviously, the whole thing with Palestine and all of that people are clearly also upset about. So I don't know. Like you said, like the government right now, Trump especially, seems like he's trying to like be in favor with them. And all that has a lot to do with money as well, and businesses in America and who runs things and all of that. So all of this stuff comes down to money, bro. Like, and I think that's what's really crazy about it, is that really America is fully run by how people feel about money and who has money and who's gonna do what with the money. So
that's true. That's true. Do y'all think we're gonna, like, if y'all were to just guess off the top of your head, y'all think we're gonna go to war? Y'all think there's gonna be a World War III? Like, what y'all think?
I don't know, bro. I think for the same reason, I think no, because I think like all these big government people, these presidents and prime ministers and all these heads, they be kind of like trying to jack like they want to do war, but they know that would not be money wise, that would not be in favor for any of them. And if there's any reason why I don't think any of them would do it, it's because of the money and because of the loss. That in the end, it would be nothing but loss for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even if you technically won World War III, it would have to be a loss, because you know what it would take to win World War III. You know what I'm saying? Especially in today's modern world, like what we got with weapons and stuff like that. So I don't see it happening, especially not with America being heavily involved. You know what I mean? I don't think so.
In my opinion, I feel like it will be a world war with Russia and Ukraine starting before one with anything having to do with Iran, Israel, Palestine. I consider those like to be not small conflicts, but nothing. The people that are pushing for us to join that Ukraine conflict, those are the people, in my opinion, that are really trying to start a world war. But no, nothing with Iran. I don't think Iran is gonna do anything to that magnitude.
So you think that's light work? Like, it's like, all right, that happened and done with, because and we're on to the next. Like, that ain't really much.
Like you said, one side have a marketing campaign, they posting on Twitter one thing, the other side is posting this. But at the end of the day, behind the scenes, I don't think it's anything like that. So I don't think any war.
I started feeling the same way once I started seeing they had the whole, marketing run on the internet. I was like, hold up,
marketing bots, all types of stuff. It's all
yeah. Like I said, Iran saying that their nuclear site is still perfect. They just set them like a couple months back. And
I think that I ain't gonna lie to you. I think they're capping about that. I think Trump might be overhyping the damage that he did, but I think they're trying to underplay it. Talking about, there's no way. I think they're definitely trying to underplay it.
Both sides are going to try to appear victorious. Victorious. You just gotta, as time goes on, the truth comes out.
You know what? I feel like honestly, that low key, especially in this day and age, because like you really can't really tell 100% who won this situation, right? Because of how the marketing is going. But back when they was doing the real wars, real bombings, you could tell, yeah, America won this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
by a landslide. There's no going on anything saying, yeah, nah, this is the question. This is what's going on. America won this. Right now, like how Iran coming through, like, oh, they did that. They kind of like brushing it off. It's kind of like making everything, like you said. That's where I was like, when I seen that, I'm like, oh, this ain't nothing, bro. Like, all right, yeah, this is BS. Like, you know what I'm saying? On to the next. What we eating tomorrow? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it starts feeling like that.
And so what do y'all think about I guess, you know, how this also relates with the president being Trump at the moment and what's going on with the riots, and obviously what's going on in LA is more of a reflection of the whole immigration status and immigration situation and what we've been seeing with that. And that has been like I think even bigger discussion lately than the whole war with Iran and war between Russia, Ukraine, all that. Like, so what do y'all think? What's y'all's opinions on that? Like, do y'all think well, here's my question. I think this is better to have like an official question. Do y'all think it's at the point with what you're seeing now and what Trump has been able to accomplish with the immigration stuff? Do you think that is going a little bit too far? Or do you think this is exactly where America needs to be at as far as their immigration conflict?
For me, it's I feel like there could be a better way to handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I've been saying this, like when kind of like when Trump first came into office. I'm like, yo, the way they want to handle it, I feel like it's gonna actually start like taking people's lives and stuff like that. Like, do you want to like really have blood on your hands for this situation, or is there another way that we can handle it? I feel like there's better ways, but you know what I'm saying?
Okay, but let me ask you, because I feel the same way, and I've heard people say that. But before I ask RJ, let me ask you, since you said that, you said you feel like there's better ways they can handle it. What are, off the top of your head, what do you think is
that's the only thing I don't know. But you know, the issue with America and some of these like people like Donald Trump, the issue with people like Donald Trump, he'll never admit that, like, yo, this is not an easy situation. This is not, you know what I'm saying? If he came out and started talking to the American people like that, like, look, this ain't an easy situation. You know what I'm saying? We have to figure out what works. You know what I mean? Like, going this way. He's just like, hey, set him out. Like, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do this. This is the best way. And this, that, and the other, which, you know, people are like, yo, I don't think that's the best way. But I don't know. I can't tell you what would be the best way, to be honest with you. Like, I just don't know. It's a tough situation. You know what I'm saying? There's so much different factors that come into it.
I mean, it's at the point. I think at the point where, even, you know, regardless of how if at this point, even if he tried to sugarcoat it or talk to America softly about it, I think it's beyond the point. I mean, you know, from what I'm reading online, obviously both sides are kind of going to the extreme with it. But now I'm seeing people. I think one of the biggest problems that we have with situations like this is misinformation, spreading fear. Beyond, this is like kind of the same thing that happened with COVID. Like, this is already a scary real situation that's happening, and both sides just make it worse by giving off this incorrect information, extreme information. And you gotta remember, there's people involved in this stuff that unfortunately don't go into really looking up their own stuff. They literally rely on what they see on social media and what they hear other people saying. So I've seen people on the internet literally talking like they're gonna snatch you up just for being on the street and not being white. And that's fucking nuts. Like, that's not the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the truth. And but I wouldn't say, like you said, I agree, there are better ways that they could be doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that we have an issue right now, and maybe there are some people that we need to get out of here because they're not doing things, or they didn't do things the right way. But I'm a strong believer that two wrongs don't make no right. And the way going to snatch up people with masks on your face and stuff like that, and pulling them out of courtrooms after their cases are being dismissed and stuff like that, I don't understand what good is going to come out of that. Yeah, you might get to ship these people off to wherever you ship them, but America has to understand that there's a reason why we're kind of in the situation that we're in. You get what I'm saying? Like, why did France give us that Statue of Liberty that's sitting in the river in New York? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's because America was considered at the time this beam of everybody will bring everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll take everybody as long as you have a dream. So all these years later, we're seeing a reflection of that, and the people who are running the country are having an issue and telling it. Yeah, they're mad at it now.
The crazy thing about that is that America wouldn't be great if we didn't do what we did. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah. What I'm saying is like,
RJ, let RJ say it because RJ he didn't get the.
Go. My bad.
Let me see. I try to have like compassion when I talk about situations like this.
Right.
How to put it? What you were saying about them picking people up after their court cases are dismissed and stuff like that. I feel like America, you know, there's a better way to do anything, but when you're faced with a problem, you got to just make a decision sometimes. You just got to do something. I do think that because of I don't think it's a race issue. Let me just start by saying that. I don't think like it's any like I'm trying to get Hispanics or something like that. I think the problem is that so many people came into the country prior and it seemed like they was trying to get a lot of people to cross the borders. They was incentivizing it. Even New York City, they offered them $1,000. And when you do that, you create all over the world. People are going to hear that. They'll travel, they'll risk their lives and everything for that money. So they created a system that had to be a problem that had to be addressed. And this is how it's being addressed. I do think because it's politics and it's two sides to everything that you're going to have, you know, messaging and everything. So you're going to see things like what you said about people getting snatched up off the street, or I saw something online about them going to some factory that produces meat and like lining people up. And it was real, but it was like 10 years old or like 15 years old. It was actually during like Obama's presidency. And it was like, I don't think that Trump or any of them are trying to necessarily snatch up like grandma and grandpa. I do think they're trying to like just, you know, get the criminals out. But like I said, there's a better way to do it. But
so what if all right, so I've been thinking like, well, okay, you gotta because just like if you're like, how you explain this? Like you say your driver's license or something like that is expired and you got to change it or whatever like that, right? You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't, and I understand as full-blown Americans that are legal here, we of course have certain liberties and stuff like that other people are not going to have. That's part of them being illegal. But imagine if when your shit was expired or something like that, niggas just came snatching you up, or you know what I mean, like forcing you physically to go do some shit. I just feel like it's like give people if I've warned you X amount of times, and I'm not going, I shouldn't be the person to determine how much time the warning should be or whatever. Or if I sent you X amount of letters, if we didn't even see you on the street and we said, oh look, bro, we done seen you and we told you you need to get your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we done did that with you a couple of times and you're clearly ignoring this or you're clearly trying to just slide by, then I can understand okay, let's go physically snatch this person up. You know what I mean? And I don't know every single case one by one of who, you know, the people, if they have criminal records or not, I don't know. But I just feel like, you get what I'm saying? Like people, regardless, you know, people are assimilated here, whether they're legal or not. And I'm completely with the legal thing because I come from a family of people who, majority on both sides of my family, everyone is immigrants, and I would say at least 95% of them did it the legal way. So I can't even sit here and act like I could empathize heavily with people who are not doing it the way they're supposed to. But from what I'm seeing, they're sending back people. I know someone personally who knows someone that he's 45 years old and they sent him back to his country, and he came here when he was like 3. You know what I'm saying?
I think that I think that they shouldn't target people that's, you know, been here 10 years, 15 years. I'm not that, but when somebody, I'm not for everything anybody does. But I do think that they're trying to mainly reverse what's happened since 2020. So you may get some instances where some illegal people may, you know, get sent back, just caught up in the mix of that. And I don't think they should necessarily go back, even if they are illegal, if they haven't committed a crime. I don't believe that they should be forcibly sent back if they're not criminals or even have pending cases or whatever. But in terms of you know, some people may have to some people may have. I was in the barbershop talking about this the other day too, and it was like, oh, the kids, they're separating kids, and I was kind of the one who was like, where the kid's supposed to go? If the parent gets sent back, sometimes you gotta send the kid back too. Like, where the kid's supposed to go? The foster care out here, or what? And you got to make tough decisions.
When they say separate, I thought, what do you mean? Like when
they claim this was a claim that the Trump administration was separating kids from the families. They were sending the families back, and sending the kids to who knows where else or whatever, separating them in some aspect. And I'm like, the kid definitely has to leave. Like, if the parent leaves, in my opinion, the kid has to go with the parent. Why would you keep the kid here or send the kid somewhere else? I'm not for that, but that's just what people are saying. It's because of the scare tactics on both sides, saying things on social media, and people are real gullible. But
yeah, and we live in times where people are really, people's whole process of thinking and their views are kind of aligned with their emotions as opposed to being aligned with logic and things that make sense. Because, like I said, man, like, I understand it. Like, if we have a problem, that if this thing, I don't, like I said, I don't know what's the level of, oh, this is a problem, we got to do something about this now. But if there's a problem, I understand the whole process of like, all right, let's slowly start to kind of alleviate this, or let's try to fix this problem. I get that. And I don't know. I just don't want to see America turn into because we're in America because it's America. You know what I mean? And I think part of what makes it America is that we have some level of decency and some level of being civilized human beings. And sometimes part of that is treating people like human beings, regardless. Because at the end of the day, bro, even people in jail, locked up in prison or whatever, they do what they did. They still deserve some level of being treated like a human being. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just, but I get it. I get it. Both sides. It's one of those things where I understand both sides of the argument. But when you see the stuff on TV, and then like I was going to ask, what I was trying to get to is more so how it resulted in what was going on in LA. I think it's kind of died down now, but even with that, it's like you see people. What I really resent about all this stuff is that you really start to see how people put their own emotions and feelings into it, even the police and how they deal with people or how they're supposed to be dealing with people. But instead they're doing negative things because they feel negatively about the situation. So
yeah, I think more of that, like a lot of them that's out there, it seems like it's more of the younger generation, not even the people who's really in the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's really has these real problems, they may end up going home through ICE. It's more of them kids who are already citizens, I believe, who maybe kind of like us, their parents probably came through, illegally, probably even legally, a lot of them, they're living good.
Do you think it's the internet that's getting all these young people riled up, or do you think it's do you think they really truly feel this way? Like they're just as passionate?
No, a lot of them do feel that way, because I believe it's real. It's real. They are, ICE is going out there. They are, I believe they really are taking people. I do believe, you know what I'm saying, they are going about it in a extreme way. You know what I'm saying? Just like RJ said about the criminals. What I believe, I feel like, the criminals should go first. But I feel like the criminal thing is easy. You catch somebody doing something criminal, you send them home. You know what I'm saying? Like there's, I don't think you should going around picking, oh, this person, are you undocumented? Boom, just finding people and snatching them, taking them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, but then the question leads: if the issue is whether you did something illegal or not, if the issue is sending back undocumented people, some people are saying, who the hell gives a crap if you did something illegal or not? If you're undocumented, you're undocumented. You know what I'm saying? So I think
I feel like that's where we're getting into that issue where it looks crazy just going up. All right, who's undocumented? And you snatching people, using force too. With they don't care who they met, a young woman, small woman, tall woman, a young man, whatever. They're snatching them up with force, throwing them on, you know what I'm saying, making them look like criminals when they may not even be a criminal. The only thing they did was, I mean, it's still bad.
It's against the law.
But it's against the law.
So technically, once you've been doing it, you are technically a criminal.
That's true. But it's against the law. But it's kind of like pick and choose. I mean, these people may which people have done it before. People have been here illegal and became legal while they were here. Elon Musk did the same thing. He was illegal for a little bit.
But again, that's what I was just saying. If there, I don't know the time frame they give you or whatever, but if there's people who come here and so many people are at least are able to do it or at least get the process started, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. There's so much factors. So much factors. You can be here and your green card goes up and you're like, damn, all right, let me give it like
you're supposed to go back.
But not. I mean, some people are like, oh, my green card's up, but I'm almost legal. Like my situation's almost taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like their time period. I say green card because I don't know the specifics on it, but it's
like your visa.
Visa, yeah.
Like you usually get like 3 months or something, like 3 to 6 months, I think.
You can get 3-6 months. You can get a year visa. You can get a school visa. You here for school. And maybe some people will be like, yo, all right, I know I'm about to get this taken care of. Let me chill for it. Let me get it taken care of instead of going back and going through all of that. And some of those people may get caught up in the situation like, oh, ICE comes. All right. Oh, your visa, you out. You know what I'm saying? It's so much factors that go into it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What would you, I mean, if you put it like, say it was you and you were coming to another country, what do you think would prevent you or stop you from starting the process of doing what you got to do? Like what? Sometimes I wonder, like, other than, because obviously when you like you said, you get a visa, or maybe you don't get a visa. If you don't have a visa, obviously you're supposed to do the specific process to get your stuff in order. What would stop you from doing that?
I don't think they're getting stopped from doing it. With them, I think it's more of just they're not getting approved fast enough. You know what I'm saying? America's not approving them. I feel like that's a situation that happens a lot. You know, like
right. But what I'm saying is, say you here, say you're here on a visa. Your visa's 3 months, 4 months, or whatever. What happened? RG's out. Say your visa's like, let me see if you messed me. Say your visa's like 3-4 months or whatever, and but you don't do whatever you're supposed to do or fill out whatever paperwork to get it done. What is stopping you from doing that? That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you think would be?
So from what I see, from what I can like think of in different situations that I know of, right? They could be in the process, like, getting things done. They probably getting denied for certain things. Oh, denied, right? Denied, this denied. All right, cool. They got to go back in another 2 months, but now you're getting letters saying, hey, you got to go back home because your visa's gone. But in your mind, you're like, damn, I want to stay. Like, let me keep doing whatever I got to do. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what I'm asking you. So you staying? So say it's you, and you're trying.
I'm staying. Like, yeah, because like, if you got your say you here, you got everything set up. You like, yeah, I got everything set up here. I'm making money here. I'm doing this here, and then they like, yeah, you gotta go. And you're like, damn, I'm right there. I can stay and get this finished. I can stay and get this taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
But it's a slippery slope, bro. Because once you stay, oh, there you go. Once you stay, and then oh shit, you good?
I'm sorry, my phone was dying. It started acting up.
Oh, you good.
But yeah, so once you stay now, you gotta know, bro. You on the radar. Now you're falling on the line of you could be on that chopping block. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but hey, that's the America, the land of the free.
That's American dream.
It's the American dream they're going for. It is what it is, bro. Like, we can talk about the morality and all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
and that's the question. Do you think the government should be moral? Do you think they have a duty to be moral and practice morality when it comes to how they execute things?
That's actually a good question, because that takes this conversation, to the past, to history. You know what I'm saying? Was America ever moral? Like, look how we got where we got.
That's what I'm saying.
Look what we did to the Native Americans. We kicked them out. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny. I seen something about the Mexicans, and then it kind of clicked to me like, it kind of clicked to me like, a lot of the Mexicans may have already been here. Like they have had tribes. You know what I'm saying? Like Native American tribes. Like there's a, wherever that is, this could be
I
their
ain't hold
home.
you, bro. That argument sometimes I don't really like to hear that argument either, because I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? And like RJ was kind of saying, sometimes when you talk about these things, it can seem like you're being kind of harsh or kind of cutthroat or some shit like that. But it's like, bro, I really sometimes don't like to hear the whole argument of, this is America's, this is stolen land anyway. So it's like, bro. Like
years.
If we playing, you know what I'm saying? Like if we playing a game of cards or some shit, and or we bet something and I win it, even if I did it dirty, nigga, I got it. You know what I'm saying? And it's been all this time. You know what I'm saying? You can't now use morals and be like, oh, it's not yours anyway. Nigga, I stole it. It's mine now.
So,
even if I, you know what I'm saying?
And then guess who's giving these arguments?
But you know what? It's funny you say that real quick. It's funny you say that. So now, okay, you say that, but now they can be like, all right, shit, we can riot, we can do whatever because hey, we trying to take this back. I don't care how we get, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a both ways.
Technically, America gives niggas the right to do that. America, you can riot if you want to. There might be some harsher consequences to it, depending on who's the president at the time. But you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's like I don't like the concept of being like, oh, America's wrong because they stole all this stuff anyway. It's like, yeah, nigga, we stole it, so it's ours now. Like that's how stealing works too. Like if a nigga steals your cell phone, you can't go tell him who to call with it. It's his cell phone now. He stole it from you. You know what I mean? Like you could be mad, but you can't expect that same person to have morals, in how they do future shit. So I don't think that should even be part of the argument, but I do get it. Like obviously this wasn't, even from the beginning, this wasn't America's land. You know what I mean? But it's like, bro, the
people that are giving these arguments about the stolen land, they're losers. like they're literally there. They want reparations. They want a whole bunch of things for free. And look at where you are. You're in America. You're getting a whole lot of things for free. I work with people all across the world, and they have to go to the hospital. They can't even see a doctor without paying. Like you can go inside any hospital. That's a privilege in itself. Like you have a chance to make money. Like, and people, they take a lot of things for granted in this country. And then they want to sit there and riot and steal. And a lot of these protests that you guys be seeing and whatnot, most of them are orchestrated. But the only real aspect of it is the outside people with no jobs, the people that just want to come and just turn shit up. That'd be really the only real part, and that's really all it is. Reparations and all that stuff is just losers bored and want more free stuff. That's it.
Yeah, I think that that's a big part of it. Yeah, because like I said, I'm not a big believer in the whole reparations argument, stuff like that. I've seen, because I don't think I will, especially with money. We've all seen the Dave Chappelle skit, where black people had got reparations, what we would do with it. So
right,
you know what I'm saying? So I feel like opportunities are better, and if because that's really what would help black people and black families in our futures if we had some of these opportunities that white people have and that Jewish people have and stuff like that. But that's the thing too. The biggest thing you're gonna see from people, particularly groups of people who grew up in poverty and don't have money, don't have things, they're gonna want money and things. That's what they're always gonna want. They're gonna choose that, you know what I'm saying, above anything else as soon as they get the opportunity for it.
You gotta work for it.
That's the ironic thing, that's America too. America is working for it. Even if you were born in America, you have to work for shit, bro. It's not just like given to you. You get what I mean?
Right. And then you're gonna like people think like they gotta work hard. Like I run a business, so I try to hire people and give people jobs and opportunities, but then you realize that people, they don't put the same amount of commitment or effort that you would put into it. They're not doing that under your brand or under your business. So people are just lazy nowadays. Even if I failed 100 times doing things. I can name so many different things, but like I would never consider myself like a failure. I'll never stop trying to do anything. But a lot of people, they will give up. They'll say, oh, I couldn't work here, the boss did this or this, that, a whole bunch of things. Even if you have the best excuse, sometime I'll be telling people like, you're late. Oh, my mom had a funeral, or dog got hit by a bus. The day still got to go on. If you don't show up, I still have to have somebody to do that job to like, I'm gonna have sympathy for you and I'm gonna be empathetic, but at the end of the day, my show got to go on with or without you. And people be thinking the show stops with them nowadays, and that's just not what it is.
And I think that's a big part of the reason why too, where it's like, and again, I'm not a supporter of Trump. I don't like Trump for a lot of different reasons, but I think people sometimes don't even understand that. Like I tell people all the time, like I read his book a couple years ago, like about his life and stuff like that. And that really kind of changed. Like obviously it didn't make me like him, but it made me kind of understand people grow up different than you, bro. Like, and people are not always gonna like Trump's parents and how they raised him is way different than how me or you or RJ was raised. You know what I'm saying? So you can't expect Donald Trump, who was raised the way he was raised, who is now sitting in the president's office, to be thinking how a liberal that grew up in like the South Bronx would think. You know what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make sense. So you got to think that way, and you have to understand that not like just like RJ said, some people are literally running a business. America, no matter which way you look at it, is a business. So whoever's sitting in that presidency, even though they're kind of a figurehead, they're still helping run a business. So they kind of have to think with a business mindset.
It's funny you said that. It's funny you said that because I had a conversation yesterday, and it was like, "Yo, if you became president, like you know, what would you do?" The same kind of similar question. And when you really think like that, yeah, I can understand some of the decisions that like Trump's made, right? And like when it comes to immigration, when it comes to even the stuff with Iran, when it comes, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff, like I've read The Art of War, I've read different like a lot of these books, and a lot of the stuff he's doing is straight up out of some of these books, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably read that freaking book himself.
Yeah, he's read it. A lot of them, it's like it's the move to make. It's immoral. A lot of them is immoral moves. You know what I'm saying? Because we know America's not moral. I don't care what anybody says. America's not.
You probably can't. Like RJ was just saying, you probably can't even be a boss and be successful if you are constantly being moral. You know what I'm saying? Because like he said, every time someone's late and they're like, "Oh, my dog got hit by a car," you're like, "Okay," you get what I'm saying? And then your business is just gonna go down the shitter. So he's like,
it's not moral, right? So not like with me, I can see both sides. I can see both sides. I can see the people who want reparations. If I want reparations, I don't give a fuck what you say. I want them damn reparations. Like I don't care.
But why? Why would you want? But why would you want? Why do you know? Better question. Why do you think? Well, I know why you want them, but why would you think you should deserve them? Like, why do you think you should get them?
Well, you know, I think the argument is because I don't know for sure the argument. Like you know what I'm saying when it comes to reparations, because realistically, if people got reparations, it'll be tough in America for real if they drop reparations, because people like me and people and you technically wouldn't deserve the reparations. You know what I'm saying? Because because
not because I need you.
That's what I'm saying.
Not even because of lineage. Let's say even your great granddaddy you knew for a fact was a slave. You still think that you deserve those reparations?
Yeah, give me the reparations, because you know what I'm saying. The Native Americans are getting reparations. They're getting their money, or they got the casinos or whatever. And I believe if don't get me wrong, I don't know, but I think Jews get money here, right?
Jews get money. I mean, do they? I don't think so. Not from like they shouldn't. Nothing happened to them here in America.
All right. But anyway, so if we're just going off America, the Native Americans, they get their money. So if they get their money, like I want my money too.
Yeah, the black people should definitely get it first. If any reparations or anything is being spoken about, it definitely should go to black people first. But look at who's bringing up these arguments. You got Democrats bringing up arguments to argue for Native Americans to get reparations when they've been governing us black people in New York City, all across metro areas for the past 40, 50 years, and our lives have not changed. And then they're going to sit there and they're going to offer reparations to the Native Americans, because that wasn't Republicans that did that. And that should be blowing my mind.
And shit like that is what I'm saying. Like, and even that is like, you know, a race for who deserves stuff. I feel like America's divided in that way too, where everybody feels like their people deserves whatever they deserve. But I still think, I don't know. I tell people this all the time. I still feel like Black Americans in general have it the worst in America. And then I think Black males specifically have a little bit harder because of certain shit that's going on. You know what I mean? Especially internally with like starting a business or trying to get your own money off the ground and stuff like that. But, you know, but everybody, this is, you know, it's a struggle game. Everybody's thinking struggling, but we'll talk about this continuing next time. An hour is going on, so let's just jump into the next thing, which kind of has to do with this. Let's talk about this kid, Carmelo Anthony. So I don't know how much y'all know about the case and what's going on, but I was.
I knew when it started. I don't know what's going on now.
Okay? So all right. So basically, what went down is so Carmelo Anthony. I never know if his name is Carmelo or Camelo, but I put
Carmelo
okay,
with the K.
Carmelo. Oh, with a K, right? Okay, all right. So I spelled it right. So obviously, at his school, I forget where exactly this takes place. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Somewhere in Texas,
right? Somewhere in Texas, right? So he was accused, obviously, of murdering this white kid who I believe the white kid is on the football team, but he's on the track team, if I'm not mistaken, something along those lines.
I thought they were on two different football teams.
Yeah,
right. Like the white kid was on the football team for the other school, and then I think Carmelo, wasn't he on the track team, or was he actually on the football team?
He was at the game. He was at the track meet, but he didn't go to that school. The other kid, the white boy, he went to that school, but he wasn't doing track at the moment. He was just supporting his school, I believe. I think that's what.
Got you.
Like, you know how you just in the bleachers,
right? Yeah.
Supporting school.
All right. So obviously, Carmelo ends up stabbing and killing this kid, and from what I believe Carmelo's defense is that the kid tried to assault him in some sort of way, or that an assault took place prior to the stabbing. As we all know, Carmelo was arrested on the scene. Eventually, he was released on some sort of bail. His family started a GoFundMe. I think they got like well over $500,000, and were put in some sort of witness protection in like some fancy neighborhood and all this. And now Carmelo has been indicted. He's been I guess accused, or actually been charged, and it's because from whatever tape that the authorities have or the prosecutors have, they say that there was no altercation happened at all before this murder. So this has obviously caused a lot of debate, because obviously members of the Black community think this is very race related, and they're like Carmelo, they're trying to say that he was just defending himself, and obviously dead man tell no tales. But this kid's brother, I believe, is still alive, and his brother was also a witness at the scene of the crime. So I don't know. For me personally, I don't think this is looking very good for Carmelo. And I'm gonna ask you guys how you feel about it, but I'm just gonna say my piece. Race, or this is my thing. It sucks to have to say that sometimes you got to take race out of some of these things, especially when race is so obviously a part of it. But if you take race out of this, do you feel sorry for Carmelo? Do you feel empathy for him? Do you feel that he should not be sent to prison if you take race out of it? Because if you take race out of it, for me, it's very simple. Someone stabbed someone and killed them in a situation where they didn't necessarily have to stab them and kill them.
Yeah,
you
race.
I mean? And
race. For me, race or not, I don't feel bad for him. I don't. Race or not, you know what I'm saying? I don't feel bad for him. I mean, I'd have to see the tape myself, because I don't know, because I know I heard that the white dude put it like they say, I don't know. He said the story is that he put his hands on him to move out the seat or whatever, and the dude stabbed him, right?
Right.
And I'm going off that story because I don't know. I'd have to see in otherwise or whatever. But if that's the case, I don't necessarily feel too bad for the white dude either, right? I don't feel bad. It's to me, it's more of an unfortunate situation. Yeah. People need to. I feel like this is it's a lesson, a learned lesson for a lot of people, right? A lot of people don't know how to handle situations without force or without getting physical.
But what if there was they're saying there was no altercation. So what if the white kid did not put his hands on Carmelo at all? Let's say he even said, oh, you like cursed him out and told him to get up, but he did not put his hands on him.
Yeah, that's insane. He needs to be in a psych ward if that's the situation. Like if he didn't put his hands on him, which I don't know. I'd have to see it because unless the black dude is psychopathic or some crazy
sociopath or some shit. Yeah,
sociopath.
I'll say even if he did put his hands on him, I'll give it to whoever that he put his hands on him. Mm-hmm. Why do you have a knife at a school game? It's like in New York the other day. They was having a water gun fight and a kid got shot, and it's like They said he got shot by somebody with a ski mask. Who the fuck? I'm sorry. Who the hell comes to a basketball shoot or whatever to shoot water guns and comes with a knife and a ski mask? Like you were planning to do something that wasn't good when you left your house. And I don't think like why would you bring a knife to the school anyway? Like it's police, it's a whole bunch of people you can ask for help if anything happens. You can fight or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't feel no empathy.
Nobody's fighting out. This is one thing I want to tell people, bro. And this is how I move now. Nobody's fighting nowadays. If you want to, if you're ready to get in somebody's face, get like act all tough.
We're talking about a school.
We're not talking about the street. We're talking about a high school, a track. It's not even like it was after school, like they was chilling. They were at a track meet, or like there should be not even none of that, bro. And this is high school, not even college. This is
that's what you would think. That's what you would think. Yeah, but we talking about how it is nowadays. It's not like this is how I raise. This is how I'm gonna raise my kids. Like, know that
to bring a knife to school.
No. I'm saying, like, don't get yourself in these situations because you don't know what how the other person is gonna react. You don't know.
Hey, I'm sorry. All right, like, but this is my question. You got to break it down, bro. What kid? Who are you talking about when you say get yourself into a situation? Who are you talking about? You mean like Carmelo got himself in a situation, or the white kid got himself in a situation?
The white dude.
By telling homeboy to move out of his seat.
Shit, yeah. Like,
nigga. So what? So
hold on.
Hey, you get up, nigga, sit in your seat, come back. You're supposed to just be like, all right, and just because I mean you could, but. I don't think bro, you get stabbed just for telling a nigga to move out your seat.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know the full situation. If he just was like, "Hey, bro, you're in my seat," and the dude's like, "What? What the fuck?" Ooh. That's psychopathic.
But
he needs to be in a psycho.
Obviously, not like that. But obviously, it didn't happen like that. Obviously, some sort of like how I'd imagine he probably said, "Yo, you need to get on my seat." He probably responded in some sort of negative way, like "Get the F out of here" or "No," and then some sort of argument. And then at whatever point, Carmelo felt like, "All right, I need to just stab him." You get what I'm saying? But
how I believe it happened, bro, because I can picture it in my head. White dude came up, "Hey, bro, you in my seat?" Because they said that he was mad that he was in their tent. He was in like their side of the
right. They say Carmelo wasn't even supposed to be under that tent anyway. Type thing.
They also said Carmelo had friends in the tent. You know what I'm saying? So much stories. There's so much stories. Right. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, it's a real unfortunate situation. Regardless, so he's like, "Hey, bro, you in my seat?" Probably tapped him. "Hey, bro, you in my seat?" They get a little altercation. You know what I'm saying? Somebody touched somebody first, unless this kid's a psychopath. You know what I'm saying? Unless he needs to be in a psych ward. Somebody grabbed somebody first.
Bro, it don't got to be a grab. He could have been like, he probably at some point stood up, got in his face, and was like, "What you gonna do?" And then Carmelo could be like, "Oh, I got so and so in my bag." And the white kid's probably like, "Man, you're not gonna do nothing." And then instantly, once somebody challenges you, you're not gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? But
all of that,
I don't know. I think the issues is that one, and I understand that there, as Black people, we need to have unity and we need to have each other's backs. But sometimes we'll go to jump into defending each other before we even know the facts of something. You know what I'm saying? Because they immediately went to defending this kid as if he was also all innocent. And I don't understand. It was like, bro, like, Black, white, whatever, kids, not all high school kids even are innocent. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that doesn't mean they're all deep demon devils, but they clearly are not little babies that are just innocent and don't know what they're doing. So, because like RJ pointed out, the minute that I heard that he even stabbed somebody, I was like, why did he have a knife in it? I cannot think of one day. I did not go to high school one day and bring a knife. You know what I'm saying? Not one day. And I don't think this kid's school is any more tougher than the high school I went to. So it's like, I don't see if you already had this knife on you, to me, it implies either you somebody looking for trouble or trouble constantly is finding you. So you felt like you had to protect yourself?
You guys, I'm sorry to interject, but I know y'all both from New York. Do y'all remember that junior boy that was stabbed up in New York a few years back?
I think so. I don't remember the specifics.
He was stabbed up. He was like 15, 16 at the time, and they called him. They stabbed him up.
Yeah.
And then, following that, the police and everybody, they said, "Oh yeah, he wanted to be NYPD." They had a picture of him in a jacket, NYPD jacket, and he was the best kid, smartest kid. That kid was a demon. He was in the streets. He had bodies. He had multiple bodies. That's what they do with these kids. They try to make them look like, oh, they were an angel. He had a knife. That boy, I promise you, he's in the streets. He saw a few things, did a few things. He didn't just have that knife on him because he was being bullied.
And
This is
that's the
their
thing.
lifestyle.
A couple kids reported too that Carmelo was kind of the bully, that he was the one who like would bully people and kind of find like mess with people and stuff
I'll
like
believe
that.
it.
And then they said that I think that they're saying this might be a part of it too, because they're saying that Carmelo had he was known for going into people's backpacks and stuff and taking shit out of their bags. So people were saying maybe that, obviously that kid, he takes stuff. You don't want to see him hanging around your stuff where under the bleachers and stuff like that. So
we pick these people who we make martyrs.
Yeah,
it's just we don't, as Black people, we don't make the best decisions on who we idolize and who we make martyrs, and it's just sad.
Not like with no, you're right. You're absolutely right. The martyr. And when I first heard the situation, I was like, yo, this dude, he's gonna go to jail for life, regardless. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he deserves it. You don't do that. That's stupid. It's just regardless, like you just don't do it. He's gonna go to jail for life. He's gonna go to prison for life. You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't be a martyr. I don't. If anybody's still trying to make him a martyr, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
trust me, they're gonna the day they read his verdict, they're gonna have to shut down the streets. They're gonna have to board up the businesses. I'm telling you, dead ass. When the day they're gonna actually read his verdict, all major cities are gonna have to board up businesses. They're gonna have to prepare for riots. I'm telling you, it's 100%. 100%. 100%.
If a trial happens, I don't think so. If a trial happens or any kind of thing happens where there's any kind of proof that he is, like RJ saying, he was really a troublemaker or like a bad kid, then I think, from what I understand, Black people, I agree with you saying, but most of the time when these martyrs that we pick for whatever reason, or these heroes that we pick, when they do something wrong, we kind of like turn the cheek and kind of back away from them. You know what I'm saying? Because look at the other, what was it, a couple of years ago, the Black girl who I forgot what she did, but she claimed that she got kidnapped or something, and that she was looking for a baby on the highway. And they find out there wasn't even really no baby, that she was just lying and made the whole thing up. It was I forgot who.
They made a movie. They made a 2B movie on it.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that. But yeah, I remember that when they couldn't find her, and her parents were like, "Oh, trust me, she's not lying. She really got kidnapped and all these." But she made all that shit up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think this is gonna be a martyr situation, because it's absolute. He stabbed a kid. He stabbed him to death. And Austin didn't have a weapon on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
he wasn't alive. He wasn't a real threat at all. Regardless on if they were arguing, regardless if Austin put his hands on him and held him like that. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of all of that, he was no real threat. So I don't think this kid, he can't be a martyr. Anybody who's first of all, anybody who thinks Carmelo Anthony was in the right is insane. They're crazy. He's not in the right. You know what I'm saying?
I can understand assuming it before, but if you still ride it now.
Not even, bro, because when I heard the story,
remember before they were saying that he got assaulted. I can understand if I'm sitting down, because again, I don't understand why you got a knife on you in the first place, but whatever. But if I'm sitting down and somebody comes and is picking me up out of the seat, or if I feel like my life is in danger, then boom, okay, I can understand why you might feel like you had to stab somebody. But if it's like they saying in this footage, there is literally no altercation, I just don't understand why he felt he had to do that. Why would you stab the kid?
I gotta look at what they said with the footage, but regardless, even if there was a slight altercation, I don't think he would have been in the right then neither. To stab somebody to death when they don't have no weapon, you know what I'm saying? They just that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, I feel like if the white dude was getting physical, was in his whatever, any kind of altercation, I just don't feel bad in that situation. I think it's a learning moment for a bunch of young kids. I feel like this is a huge learning moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On both ends.
It should be at least. Yeah. I just hope it don't start no whole further race war and all that shit. Because RJ said, this might be some shit where it might be riots and war all over again, because people might not feel that he's given a proper sentence. But I don't know. Part of me feel like maybe he might walk. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If I feel like on the other end of a lot of the the white folks that are backing I forgot the other dude's name. Austin Metcalf.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, from the stuff that I've been seeing on Twitter, you know, or whatever, I feel like they would wild out if Carmelo Anthony doesn't get a real good sentence. If he don't get life with the death penalty or the death penalty, they go, it's up. They go.
Do you think that I think they would have a right to? Because I mean, you know, we got one more topic before we get out, so we're gonna close it. But if it was if it was your child who was the victim and got stabbed, and then the other kid gets off just because, you know, people, I guess, feel sorry or because he's black, like, wouldn't you be a little bit like, yo, like, that's kind of messed up?
Hey, shit. Yeah, nah, I would, because if it was the other way around, the black people do it. That's what we, you know, it just is what it is. Like, that's what
I mean, obviously, I know that, you know, if we're talking about, you know, balance and everything, obviously, I believe there's probably far more white people who have gotten off from killing innocent black people. So, you know,
America, but baby.
Yeah. So anyway, we got 15 minutes. So let's 15 minutes. Let's move on. Last topic. Let's get an update on the whole Diddy thing. I don't even know an update on this Diddy joint, to be honest. From what I understand, the latest update is that they might be taking some charges off of him. That there's like 3 charges, because, you know, they've had closing arguments. The whole thing is done. It's ended now. And I don't know, man. From what I'm seeing of this, it doesn't look like they really proved what they were set out to prove or to get him convicted of. I don't know what you guys think so far with what you've heard.
Yeah.
I'll start. So I think that they proved a little bit, like with the racketeering. I think they proved that a little, because racketeering is really easy to prove. Like, all you got to do is prove, oh, I hired him to do this and that was illegal. But I think that's pretty much it. I don't think they proved anything else in the case, but I do think he's still going to get convicted, and I wish him luck on his appeal.
He said I wish him luck on his appeal. But what about, like,
Yes.
so do you think that they really proved anything as far as, like, you know, human trafficking or any kind of, you know, trafficking?
Nah, he do what most people do. That's his stature. It's just not publicized. They're all a little freaky. Got multiple females, males, whatever you want to say it. I don't think that makes him a criminal. Makes him weird. Make him a little freak. But I don't think they need to. I don't think he needs to serve jail time, because now these people that maybe they did it in the past, they thought about it and they feel disgusted with themselves or whatever, and now they want to have a redemption tour and get money and all of that stuff. Nah, I'm not in support of any of that.
Yeah, we talked about it a couple of times on here, and I said, you know, like, you know, it's not illegal to be a freak. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it seems like that's what they're trying to convict people of just being freaky, or people having different sexual, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't understand really what, you know, human trafficking was, or any of this trafficking. Because, you know what I thought human trafficking was? I thought human trafficking was when you literally came to somebody's house, physically took them out of their house and forced them to, like, be a prostitute, or took them to a different country and forced them into that. That's what I thought human trafficking was. I didn't know that there was, like, levels to this. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. If that's, I mean, I don't know how the transactions happen with, like, with Cassie and the prostitutes or whatever, but that's, I mean, that's kind of like human trafficking, because it's like you're using the human, and somebody's getting money for sex, and it's coming from you. It's like it's pimping.
From what I understand, there wasn't even, like, no money involved. From what I understand, it's like what they're trying to prove is that, like, he coerced her in, well, you know, obviously
he was paying
her lifestyle.
There's a whole prostitute that he wrote a whole book, and then he finally came out and said that it was Diddy. But yeah, he was working for Diddy and Cassie, or Diddy, or whatever, however that works out in their favor or whatever. But
so I don't understand, if he was working for Cassie too, how come Cassie ain't about to go to prison?
She on her redemption tour.
I don't understand, like,
because she's saying she's a victim. So now that's where the human trafficking comes from, because Diddy is the one who was sitting in the back jacking his meat, like, to their intercourse, watching Cassie have intercourse with a prostitute, and then he's paying the prostitute. You know what I'm saying?
Put Cassie back in the same predicament and she'll do it all over again. She didn't have no money. No, because Diddy and they gave her lifestyle. She ain't released but one album. Like, you're not no singer. Like let's put that to bed.
Yeah,
So it's like,
well, you know what? I mean, she didn't say that she'd go back and do it again, but she said she's admit plenty of times that, like, at that time, this is why she did X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? But does that still make it right? That's the question here. You know what I'm saying?
It don't make it right, but I think that if you admit that you only did something like for money or for a lifestyle, I don't think that makes you any better than the person that was giving you the money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you knew what you was doing too. It's just like when two people decide to rob a bank. If me and you decide to go rob a bank, you can't 3 weeks later be like, "Oh, Jay coerced me into robbing the bank." Right. Nigga, you was right there. You knew what was going on, and all of a sudden, because you feel differently now, like I'm the one that gets in trouble. I just don't think that's fair. And it's like, I feel like the most craziest thing that we saw that P. Diddy should be rotting under a jail cell for is the video of him physically assaulting and dragging Cassie through that hotel. Put him on. I mean,
that chopped up video. I want to see. I want to see the full video. I don't want to see what they chopped up and typed up. Because maybe he did beat her ass. I'm not.
And again, if that's what he did and that's in the tape, that is actually illegal. Obviously, even if you physically did, if he even did that to a dude, he would be it would be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So put him in prison for that. Why are we making these other things and saying like, oh, like it's like we're trying to avoid what the real problem is by trying to make this like invisible thing a problem. And Cassie, she chose herself because she originally started most of this publicly when she went to New York and opened up the case against him. At that time, when it got opened up, she at some point chose to accept an undisclosed amount of money to make it go away, right? For it not to be a thing. If you made that decision and you got that money, I don't think that same person now should be allowed to come to court and sit on a stand and help convict me of those very crimes that they said was okay as long as they got some money. That you know what I'm saying? Like you got paid,
but you
got paid to not be here doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that was a huge finesse. But anyway,
that's a finesse. That's an ill finesse. Like
she went crazy with it. But
there's no victim. There's no victim in the Cassie situation with Diddy. It's like there's no victim there. So it's just they're just after his money and his status and whatever else. But like you said, she was robbing the bank with him the whole time. She was telling people she'll unalive them and a whole bunch of other stuff. She was far from a victim. And they don't have anybody that's actually coming out saying, I've been victimized. They had somebody testify that Diddy's still paying her bills to this day. Where are all these people that are so distraught and been victimized and sex trafficked? None of them are coming out, but all of them apparently want money or whatever. Yeah.
When this whole thing started, I thought it was going to be like 20, 30 different women. Remember when the Cosby thing kicked off and all these women were kind of coming out? I thought that's what we was going to see, but it just seems, like, I don't know. And I know that Cassie's like a human being, obviously, and sometimes as human beings we do, that's part of the thing. Sometimes we're okay with something and then we realize, all right, I don't know why I was doing that. I wasn't into that, and I'm fine with that. I don't think that anything should have happened to her or that she deserves anything, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't think if two people decide to do something, I don't think only one person should get in trouble for it down the line. Because the other person is seen more as a victim than the other person, or because one person has more money or more, because all of it is like you're basically making this nigga pay for being more powerful and having more money than her. You know what I'm saying? Because if she was doing the shit to him, nobody would care. You know what I'm saying? It's been like, oh, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, if someone is telling you or even hinting at you that, oh, if you stop doing something that I'm allowing you to do, I'm going to take away this, you clearly know that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you know that's what they're hinting at. So it's up to you at that moment to be like, all right, man, if you continue to do that, that means it's basically like a verbal agreement, like a silent agreement that you're saying, okay, I'm going to continue to do this stuff for your money, But yeah, I don't know.
I think that's why she went and got the money at first, to be honest with you, instead of taking him to trial. Because
because she wouldn't have got no money if she took him to trial.
I do believe, like, although she probably was down with him certain times, and a lot of times maybe he was probably on some BS. I do believe there was a lot of like him holding his power, like him not being a genuine good person, in my opinion. I believe that's there. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think somebody should go to prison for that though?
Nah, I don't think like if he goes to prison, it's more gonna be straight up sex trafficking, because he did do that. Like that's a fact. He did do what they legally deem as sex trafficking. You know what I'm saying? That's why that charge is still there. All the other ones, I forgot what they said. They a lot of them dropped. The sex trafficking one is probably what they're gonna get him for. If he has a real like jewelry with some good hearts, it'll probably get like a couple months or some like weird shit. But when it comes to Cassie and him, like, you know, regardless if she changed her mind on doing that stuff, thought about it, maybe thought she was brainwashing her or whatever it is, like, yeah, she, you know, give her the money, call it a day. But I feel like I took him to court like because of pressure in a way, because he came out and people were like, yo, why you don't take him to, like, put him in jail for this? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why.
Yeah, but she could have done that. She didn't take him to trial. She decided to get it thrown out of court for money.
Yeah, exactly, because she knew that she was down for it, a majority of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then that's what I'm saying, bro. If she was down for the majority of it, why is this man sitting on trial? It does not make sense to me. Because you think about if you was in high school and you messed around with like 10 girls, and now you sitting there, you just started some big business, you making millions of dollars, and 8 out of them 10 girls come back and it's like, oh, in high school, EJ coerced me into having sex. You'd be like, dude, like what? Like,
well, it's like it's one of those things where,
especially like, let's say you had sex with 8 of them girls and you took them out to Red Lobster after, and then every time y'all had sex, you were just thought you just being cool because you don't want to leave someone starving after you just put a dick in their mouth. So you decided you wanted to go buy them some lunch. And then 10 years later, it's like, well, every time he had sex with me, he bought me lunch. So I felt like I would have starved to death if I stopped having sex with him. That's kind of freaking insane. It's like,
the guys got to start taking accountability for choosing these females as well.
Exactly. That's my point, because again, niggas clearly know when they're getting involved with someone like that, and they themselves choose to continue. So you get what I'm saying? So the men are just as guilty, because it's like, bro, but I understand if this be the only thing, because obviously, nigga, we're obviously men, so obviously we're gonna empathize with men because we understand certain things. But it's like, I just know that it's not all the time when men are doing that their intent is like evil intent. You get what I'm saying? It's literally sometimes it's like, and again, obviously this is illegal now, I know, but obviously sometimes it's like, oh, this girl's messing with me and she's giving me, you know, we're sleeping with each other. Yeah, I'm gonna buy her this here and there. I'm gonna do, you know what I'm saying? And obviously, if you stop, I'm gonna stop buying your stuff. Why would I keep continuing to buy you stuff if we're not messing with each other anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's how men look at it in their head. But obviously, it's like that can obviously be negatively affecting someone emotionally and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. I think he's just still on trial. Honestly, like I said, I think it's more just for the legit, like the legalities of sex trafficking, because that is technically what he did or what was going on with
real
that
quick.
situation.
All right, just explain that to me real quick, because that's the thing. Like, I'm not, what exactly did he do to that involve that?
What, sex trafficking? He was hiring a prostitute to smash Cassie for like months at a time and watching them and jacking off to them.
That's sex trafficking?
Yeah, that's considered sex trafficking.
That's considered sex trafficking.
But how is he sex trafficking Cassie in that situation?
Sex trafficking the prostitute.
So what if he removed the payment?
On trial. He's on trial for sex trafficking Cassie.
If he removed the payment, is it still sex trafficking?
If he removed the payment, nah, because there's no payment, there's no money.
Okay.
Involved. As soon as there's money involved, no, that's what I'm saying. So it's not only Cassie. It's not. I don't think it's only a Cassie thing. It's a Diddy broke the law thing. So they get in these situations. Oh, you were sex trafficking here. You did this. You did this.
But that's not even. They can't even really say if that's the case. Then it's like Cassie was the one arranging all the hookers and the prostitutes, and they can argue she was equally invested in this freak offs as he was. So how can they say it was him or if it was her if she's the one maintaining the communication?
They just have proof of the money going from Diddy to the prostitute.
So
that's
the money
trafficking.
was
As soon as you do that, that's trafficking.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he's cooked. But I don't think he's cooked for that long, to be honest. Like seeing everything, I don't think they're gonna give him that long, bro. Besides for the other things, like I mean, I don't know how much evidence they got of him blowing up Kid Cudi's car. That's a whole freaking.
I don't even think he'd be in charge of that.
Ain't nobody care about Kid Cudi.
Yeah, nobody give a fuck about
that. I think that's in there, bro. All of that's in
that's in there. Because remember, Kid Cudi had to come to court and testify about it, but I don't think he's like being charged for like whatever that would be. What was it like?
That would be the racketeering.
Oh, that's involved in the racketeering.
Yeah, it's all that. This is a all these crimes
racketeering. Isn't racketeering? Doesn't racketeering have to be involved in business?
No, he hired somebody to blow up his car.
That's considered racketeering?
I believe so. I don't know, but like I said, I know it's a part of the case. I know it's a part of the case. All these illegal things that he did is part of the case. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to get him to. Nah, this is a conspiracy. I was gonna throw a conspiracy in there.
What? They're trying to get him to do what?
They're trying to get him to get. They believe he's caught up in Kim Porter's death. His ex-wife's death.
Oh, that too.
It's like, yo, throw that in there too. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's conspiracy. I ain't even gonna get into that. But all
right, but before we leave, let me ask you this: do you think this, whether or not he goes to prison or not, he gets out? Niggas the prostitute was just doing their job. Whether or not he goes to prison or not, or he goes free. How do you see this affecting his his career wise? Like, do you think once the dust clears here and everything's done, do you think Diddy makes a comeback and he's 100% back in, no one cares, or do you think that's it?
Nah, I don't know, man. I know his name's tainted, bro.
I think that not too much people will care, honestly, because I think a lot of them are doing the same, or if not worse, celebrity wise, are doing the same, or if not worse. So for people's brands, they might not want to publicly, be around him for a while. Yeah. But I think his power behind the scenes will still hold. And so people will still gravitate towards him. I don't think he's going to lose too many relationships.
Yeah, I think he's going to be more so pulling strings like behind the scenes. I don't think, like you said, people are probably not going to want to be seen too publicly with him or doing too much public business with him, I guess. Right. Especially in the, I think anything's possible, man. Because look at Travis Scott. He killed all them damn kids at that show, and no one even gives a crap about that no more. Like, they don't even talk about it. And he has all these deals and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think. I think it's just Nate. It's gonna be a running joke for a little minute. You know what I'm saying? Like even harder than it ever used to be. Like he's just a freak ass nigga.
Yeah, bro. This man had baby oil and Astroglide like in a temperature controlled. Like I've never seen that shit before. Like how the frick you get a temperature controlled box for friggin'. And why does it have to be a specific temperature? Like I don't understand.
Because they want to put it into the pot and make it hot.
Bro, the prostitute that Diddy was hiring, like said that Diddy would hire him to go and smash Cassie, and like Diddy would jag his meat, and Diddy specifically wanted the dude to bust on Cassie, right? And then want Cassie to rub the dude's nut all over Diddy. Like, dude, bro had some crazy.
That's some crazy
bro.
shit.
That's not how I expected you to end that. You said rub it all over Diddy?
Yeah, rub it on him, bro.
Yo, what?
When I heard that, nasty. I was like, God. If anything, he just deserves. Like, he just need to go sit down for like a couple months. Just
put him under the jail just for that shit right there.
Sure, like you need to go to jail just for being just for that shit. You need to go to jail. Cause what, nigga?
That nigga nasty.
Yo, what? Bro,
nigga God. When I heard that shit, bro, I was crying, bro.
I wish I could see his face in the court when these things are getting brought up. Like the people are probably looking at this thinking like, what? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? You want it? Yo, that's why. And he paid somebody to do this. That is
them to smash Cassie, bro.
And then
it was a constant thing. That was I forgot. Yeah, it was a constant thing. Like, yeah. You want to call that dude? Call this dude up. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do some freaky stuff tonight. Like it was on some that.
And then after dude is finished, did he sit there and allow Cassie to rub that stuff all over him?
Yeah.
Why, dude? Like, what? I'm like, what do you get out of this? Like, what is wrong with you, bro? Oh my god!
Because I remember he liked the men too. He liked the men and the women. So it's like,
but even people who like men don't normally do that. That's not like
right.
Like, why that? Like, are you sitting there waiting for that to happen so that you could? I don't know. That's great. But yeah, so yeah, it's an hour and a half. Thanks. Shout out to RJ for helping us out today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem, bro. We're gonna try to be back probably next month. We'll come and talk about some other stuff. Shout out to everybody that was in and out the chat for today. I'm gonna put the episode up tomorrow. So, all right, y'all. Everybody have a good night. RJ, we'll hit you up, bro.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Peace. Of course, bro. All right, bro. That shit was hilarious, bro.